Hi, welcome to Breathe Well Coaching. I'm Coach Erin. I'm a corporate coach and a wellness coach. I help clients manage stress and anxiety in all areas of their life. Today, I want to walk you through a wellness check-in. And this wellness check-in is such an amazing tool for you to start to utilize on a monthly basis. So you can start to see the trends and the areas that are consistently coming up as perhaps areas you're neglecting or areas that you're doing really great in your well-being, and you can celebrate that. So today I want to show you this little check-in and I will walk you through it. When we look at wellness, we are not only looking at your physical well-being, which is what most people really think about, and it's a good entry point into wellness conversation. The physical well-being is going to be, how are you sleeping? How are you managing your stress? How are you eating? How are you exercising? How are you taking care of your physical body? So that is a really important piece of this, because I think if you don't have that, it's going to affect every single other area really significantly. When you don't feel well, you really can't perform well in your occupation. You struggle in your relationships emotionally. You struggle adding on intellectual challenges and building the wellness in that area. So all the other areas are going to be affected. I use an 8-dimension wellness tool. So I'm just going to read through these different ones, and I want you to start to, if you have a sheet of paper, grab a paper or pen, or you can make a mental note. You're going to start to decide if you're at a 1, which is going to be lower, or if you're at a 5, which is going to be awesome, higher. You're feeling really great in this area. Now understand, you can have a 5 and still know that you need to progress a little bit, still know that you need to grow in that area, because the wellness journey is never over. We're going to be working on our wellness till the day we die. Because honestly, we want to always be evolving and growing, and different seasons are going to call upon different areas for us to rise up and maybe let go of things that maybe no longer serve us. So we're always going to want to be evolving in our well-being, but this will just give you a tool to check in, to get to the heart of it, and to understand where you're at on a month-to-month basis. So let's start with social well-being. Social well-being, I actually find this with a lot of the clients I work with in their corporate life, kind of leveling up in their career, maybe they're executives, that level. These people are struggling with their social well-being. It was easy when they were younger, but now they have to be much more intentional about getting social wellness in and having really fruitful and great relationships. So that's just a little sidebar there. But wherever you're at, whether you're just starting out in your career, maybe you're in college, I don't know where you're at, but look at your social well-being, and it's going to be from a 1 to a 5. Are you developing a sense of connection and belonging and a well-developed support system? Do you feel supported? Do you feel safe? Do you feel like you belong to a group of people or several different groups of people? Even in your family unit, this could be a part of that family unit, but really I'm talking more about friends, colleagues, people outside of that initial family unit. So think about how you're doing there and rate yourself 1 to a 5. 1 being you really need some work, you haven't been focused on your social well-being for a long time, or 5, you're killing it. Maybe you're doing too much socializing. Number 2, so the second one we're looking at is emotional well-being. This is coping effectively with life, including its challenges, stressors, and joys. This is creating satisfying relationships. So here, this is going to be both your relationships, your intimate relationships, your family life, and it's also going to be how you manage ups and downs. Are you emotionally stable, or are you emotionally reactive? Do you have emotional intelligence? Do you know how to be aware of your emotions, cope with them, manage them, and then also be aware of other people's emotions? How are you doing emotionally? 1 is lower, 5 is higher. Go ahead and rate yourself. The next one we're going to look at is spiritual wellness. This is expanding your sense of purpose and meaning centered on personal beliefs and values. Notice I didn't say religion. I didn't say going to church per se. I am a Christian, so this is how I practice my spiritual well-being. But I, as a coach and as a wellness coach, I'm not going to push anybody to have any type of religious practice. I just do think it's helpful for us to remember that, especially in this wellness wheel, and almost any wellness wheel you see, there's a spiritual piece of it, because we are spiritual beings. And sometimes we get to the end of ourselves and we need to really look at what else is out there. And it's okay to have questions and to talk to people and to check out different religions and kind of expand yourself spiritually. So are you doing this? 1, not at all, or 5, you're regularly having a spiritual practice and you feel well in that area. The next one, intellectual. This is recognizing creative abilities and finding ways to expand knowledge and skills. Intellectual well-being. Are you learning? Are you continuously learning? Are you coming up with your own learning plan where, hey, I'm interested in this, I'm gonna get a couple books on it and try to grow in this area. Not just in your hobbies, but even in other areas. So hobbies included, but other areas as well. Are you going back to school? Are you currently in school? If you're in school, you're probably at a 5 in this area. If you're in work and maybe in the same old routine and you haven't been challenging yourself intellectually, you're not going to feel well. You're not going to feel in balance. So you give yourself a 1 all the way up to a 5. Rate yourself. All right, so now we're going to that physical wellness. I mentioned this when I started the video. Physical wellness is enjoying healthy nutrition, adequate sleep, physical activity, and preventing and managing illness and health conditions, managing your stress. How are you doing in your physical well-being? Are you actively working on it? Are there areas you need to improve? Give yourself a 1 to a 5. Now we have environmental well-being. So this is gonna be a few different things. It's gonna be your space, your home space. Do you feel safe? Do you feel supported? Do you walk into your space and you feel calm and relaxed and it's like a really nice environment? This also pertains to your workspace and any other spaces you're in on a regular basis. Your car, I mean, for me, I drop my kids off and pick them up, and I know if my car starts to get really gross, and we call it the snack mobile sometimes. If it starts to get like that, I can feel it and it starts to stress me out a little bit. So it's affecting my wellness. So I want to make sure that I'm taking care of that area. I'm taking care of my things. And this is called occupying pleasant, stimulating environments, both social and natural, that support your well-being. This can also be looked at micro. So what I just talked about is all the micro, but also macro. So on a big scale, how do you feel in the environment, in the world? Are you turning off the lights? Are you trying to save water? Do you recycle? Do you do things that help the planet? So you can look at it a couple different ways. Give yourself a 1 to a 5. Rate yourself. Financial well-being. This is managing expenses to create satisfaction for the present and the future. This is our next one. Financial well-being. If you have stress in your finances, this is a really heavy stress, okay? And you'll be thinking about it all the time if you're overspending, if you're not making enough money, and it's such a stressful place to be. Trust me, I understand. I know. I'm a small business owner. I'm a wellness coach, so I understand what that means. But here, manage it to the best of your ability. Try to grow in different areas and keep a focus on it. The worst thing you can do is avoid it, not pay attention to it, because it's going to affect your health and well-being. So make sure you're taking care of yourself financially. That's a 1 to a 5. Rate yourself today. You can always improve and grow. Now, occupational well-being is our last one we're going to talk about. I work a lot with corporate clients, so this is a really big part of what I do. Are we enjoying personal satisfaction and enrichment from your choice of work? Do you feel like you're growing? Being challenged is a part of growing, so challenge is great in our occupation. Do we feel like we're being challenged and supported and able to grow in our work environment? Give yourself a 1 all the way up to a 5. So here's a quick little example of somebody who is thriving and then somebody who's just surviving. So this is where we want to look at. We want to increase that, kind of build that wellness wheel out. And this is why I love the imagery of a wellness wheel. So a wellness wheel looks like a wheel on a bicycle, and there's spokes on a bicycle. And you can imagine if some of those spokes were broken or crooked or falling off, completely neglected, that wheel wouldn't turn as smoothly and you would easily be thrown off of balance. This is the idea of the wellness wheel. The imagery for me, I used to be a cyclist, not as much anymore, but I still love that wheel, that bicycle wheel imagery of trying to have balance in our life. And yes, we can still run over some bumps. There's still gonna be bumps in the road. There's still gonna be little pitfalls, and there's still gonna be bumps in the road. There's still gonna be hills. There's still gonna be headwind. There's gonna be still challenges, but when your wellness wheel is intact, we can manage those things a lot better, and we're leaning into our resiliency, our vitality, and that's what we're looking for in wellness. Again, a lot of people look at wellness and they think, oh, physical wellness, it's all about exercise, nutrition, sleep, and stress, and yes, that makes a big difference, but it's a lot more than that. It's a lot bigger and broader. It's a holistic view of how you're doing. And the more you can start thinking in terms of your health from a wellness perspective with all 8 dimensions that I just mentioned, the easier it's going to be to manage those areas. The easier it's going to be for you to notice, hey, one of my spokes on my wheel I've been neglecting it, so it'll be easy for you to come back to that. I love the idea of balance in life. I am all about the moderation. I know that sometimes that's not as sexy and it's not as fast-paced as a lot of things out there. It's not a quick fix. It's none of that. But in my opinion, it creates more peace long-term. It creates more joy. It creates balance, homeostasis. Like, this is what, to me, my body craves, is having more of a full, rich, expansive, kind of wholehearted type of lifestyle where I don't want to be only focusing on my occupation and killing myself in my job. I don't at all. Just like I don't want to only be working on my physical health and well-being. I've seen both of those, and I've worked with clients who are focused on just those. And when you start to open the doors to your spiritual well-being, to your emotional well-being, to your social well-being, you live a richer, more full life. So that's the point. And I hope you're as excited about this as I am. If you want to jump on a call and go over this with me on your own, I'll also, if you jump on that call, you'll get a copy of this and another longer wellness assessment that you can use. But you have to jump on that call with me. We have to connect, and I will give you that. So it's a 30-minute discovery call about wellness and stress management coaching. So if you're interested in that, go ahead and find the description below and go ahead and sign up for that. Breathe well, live well, and speak well. Have a wonderful day.